네, 안녕하십니까. 지금부터
Good afternoon. We will begin the first
ASEAN-ROK
ASEAN-ROK Children's Reading Culture
하겠습니다.
Development Committee General
오늘 진행을
Meetings.
맡은
And I
국립어린이청소년도서관
am Kim Min-jo from
김민정입니다.
National Library for Children and Young Adults and going to be the host for today.
온라인으로
First of
총회를
all, I would
개최하게
like
된
to
점
ask for
양해
your understanding as we are
부탁드립니다.
hosting the
회의는
general
한국어와
meeting
영어로
online. We have been
진행되며 공식
providing
통역을
English and
제공하고
Korean
있으니
interpretation
참고하시기
service today.
바랍니다. 오늘 일정을
Let me
간략히
briefly introduce today's
소개하겠습니다.
agenda. We will start with
국립어린이청소년도서관
opening remarks by Director
관장님의
General
인사
Park Joo
말씀을
of National Library
시작으로
for Children and Young
대한민국과
Adults,
아세안
followed by
10개국의
presentations on the current status of reading habits of Korea and 10 ASEAN countries. We'll end today's event with a special lecture by Han Mi-wa under the title of Children and Adults Read Together. Now we will invite Director General Park Joo of National Library for Children and Young Adults for the remark. Please.
Great to see you all. I am Park Joo-ho, Director General of the National Library for Children and Young Adults. It is a great honor to be the host of the first ASEAN-ROK Children's Reading Culture Development General Meeting. My deepest appreciation goes to all the members from ASEAN and the Korean members. Human brains are subject to change throughout the course of our life from the external stimuli. However, such change is the most active in 3 stages of our life. The first stage is from the birth to 3 years of age, and the second period is 7 to 10 years of age, and the third is the adolescence. To be granted, it is challenging to experience the every detail in a direct manner. So readings can contribute to solving some challenges facing us and gaining wisdom. That is why reading books during childhood and teenagehood is the utmost. ASEAN Children's Reading Culture Development Project brings together the most representative national libraries of ASEAN countries so as to contribute to raising awareness for children's reading culture and reading environment by boosting infrastructure. I hope such project can lay the firm foundation for enhancing the culture of reading among children and have a positive influence overall. National Library for Children's Young Adults will serve as a hub so that ASEAN Children's Reading Culture Development Project can move forward. I hope you can continue to give attention and encouragement so that it can bear fruit. Thank you.
Thank you, Director General, for the warm remark. And now we'll invite each country's representative to present. And I will give you the 10 minutes. Please stay within this time window. And we will have Q&A sessions after the presentations. And we will have the presentations in the order of alphabetical order of the country names. First, Brunei, please.
Hello, thank you so much for the opportunity to represent my country. So I will share my screen now. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I will share my screen now. Please let me know if people can see my slides. Okay, then I can start. May I start? Hello, may I start?
Yes, you can start now.
Yes, you can start now.
Okay, so good morning and hello to all respective panelists of today's conference. Today I'll be representing Brunei Darussalam. So the agenda for my meeting today is to introduce the current strategies that have been implemented within our country in hopes of encouraging children worldwide to read more stories while constructively considering the elements that have gone well as areas in need of improvement. So additionally, I also would like to introduce several new alternative ways on how to encourage more children to read in the future. So first introduction to our current existing libraries in Brunei Darussalam. We have several government and non-government libraries, but our main one has been the National Library located in our city center, as well as the Dewan Perpustakaan, which is a language center that specializes in books and publications. So they are also the main contributors for any events involving reading and literature. Such events that we've been doing in the past are such as National Book Fest, the Children's Book Writing Contest, and the Children's Storytelling Contest as well. So these events often target primary and secondary schools, where schools, children, and teenagers may compete to stand the chance to win prestigious prizes and acknowledgement. So this initiative has shown great promise and potential, with benefiting not only the writing community in Brunei, but also allowing children to read more books based on our history and culture. So according to the statistics, these are the number of children that are currently in Brunei, but upon interviewing local parents and teachers, a common concern they often face is whether their children and students are reading enough in this new generation. Thus, as a country that values education and learning, especially in hopes of preserving traditional stories and folklores, we always try to find new ways on how to encourage children to read more books. So our following initiatives for today's meeting are the following three, which is to discuss and to plan workshops on ways to write children's books to encourage more engagement and interaction among students, and to pre-record children's books to have a more immersive reading experience, as well as to perform the story. Okay, so the first initiative is to perhaps provide short tutorials or workshops introducing ways for local aspiring children's book writers or educators, such as teachers, to write compelling stories that might appeal to the young generation. So we've held many workshops in the past that explores techniques such as writing stories following morals in specific cultures, how to integrate use of rhymes, songwriting as well, in hopes of allowing a more immersive reading culture in the students. So we intend to prioritize maybe 2 to 3 sessions that would show aspiring writers and educators a step-by-step process on how to write children's books and how they can be made, as well as to consider important points when writing children's books that will appeal to a wide range of different learning styles. So over the years, my company, Parabel Studios, have held several workshops and tutorials to help aspiring writers and teachers, and they have shown promising results by gaining new traction and enthusiasm from the audience. So expected results we hope to see is to encourage the educators to practice their creative energies, as well as to allow students to be more engaged with reading. So another initiative is to have our books pre-recorded for those who may not be so enthusiastic about reading words. So in the past, we have introduced this initiative starting from 2020, where we integrate a blend of animations, music, and children's book readings to increase the engagement and enthusiasm of the reading culture of Brunei. So thus, we would like to further investigate whether the same promising effect may work with the other cultures and other countries. We also learned that by integrating the use of real-life fun facts at the end, especially by using real-life animals, can pique the interest of students and adults alike. So here's some examples of what we've done in the past. These are just very short excerpts. So basically, once you've written your story, you can take it into an animation format for children to listen to, and this can be paired with music. Another one here is at the very end, you
Before
can
you
add
go,
fun facts
here are
that
some fun
children
facts
can
about
also
Philip the
learn
Frog.
along the way, as well
Did
as
you know that
enjoy
Philip the
while
Frog
they're
was inspired
reading
by
their
the
books as
Malayan
well.
horned frog?
Another version we did in hopes of trying to encourage
I am
the
a
new
chief
generation to
of a
read
village
more traditional folklores
where
and about
everyone is
history.
happy and
This was a
dancing
way
about
that we tried to
all they
allow
see is
students to
happiness,
revise during the
never
history
thinking of the
exams.
dangers
So this is a
about
more immersive way for
to
students to
think
learn,
that
but
it
also
is
through
easy.
visuals. Okay. And then the final one is to improve the reading culture by encouraging students or even volunteers to come in and perform the stories that are given to them. So this has been done by Dewan Perpustakaan before, where librarians can assign children groups to encourage them to read an aspect of the children's books, where they can then encourage them to perform, sing, or read to the rest of the group. So this can be expected by supporting the previous children's shows that have been done in the past, such as High Five, Barney the Purple Dinosaur, Bananas in Pajamas as well, where characters would perform stories discussed alongside a narrator. So the performers act out their parts and children can read along with the narrator as well, or maybe even play out certain characters. So many children nowadays are more kinesthetic, visual, and auditory learners. So by encouraging them to immerse themselves and to fully engage in performing the books rather than just to read them out loud is a more immersive way on how to encourage students to read more books. So for that, a recap. Thus, my following propositions were to provide a more hands-on approach by targeting more ways on how to immerse children, varying from visual, auditory, and movements learning, as well as to cater to a wider range of learners, because nowadays the newer generation are more focused on kinesthetic learning and more hands-on approaches. So we are hoping to explore more immersive and engaging experiences to encourage more students to read. So that's with my moving forward, I believe that by catering to a wide range of learners, we may reach out to a wider demographic of children whilst offering them an immersive and engaging experience that would encouraging them to read. So with that, I conclude my presentation for today's conference. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to ask further. So thank you so much. Oops.
네, 브루나이 발표 감사드립니다.
So thank you for your
다시 한번
presentation
공지드리지만
from
질문은
Brunei.
모든
I would like
나라의
to make one more announcement. Q&A session will be conducted all at once at the last minute of the session. Cambodia, please. So Cambodia presenter, would you please start presentation?
Yes, let me share the screen. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can your screen. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Golap Mao from Cambodia, and I would like to share with you about the current status of children reading culture in Cambodia. So I begin with the statistic. We have a national library and school library that provide the reading activity to children. Unfortunately, we do not have public library in Cambodia, but we do have some small community library which are run by some NGO. So we have one national library. For school library, this statistic is from primary school library. Among 7,800 schools, we only have about 3,000 library, which means that only 40% of the school have library, and the rest, they don't have library yet. For reading campaign right now in Cambodia, we of course have other small events, but these are the big events which are run by the national level. So I will begin with first Cambodian Book Fair. So for the Cambodian Book Fair, it is the national event we organize every year in December by the Ministry of Culture and Fine Arts, along with the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Information, and our NGO partners and the Library Association. The first Cambodian Book Fair was organized in 2011. During our first fair, we only received about 1,000 visitors, but from year to year, our visitor has increased tremendously. By 2019, we have 180,000 visitors. This to us is very unthinkable achievement, because we never thought that our book fair will attract this many visitors. So during the book fair, we have three major events. We have, of course, book exhibition where publisher, author can sell their books. We also have reading activities for children, and we also have other speaker program on the stage. So you can see here we have the children who come to. We have, you can see photo of our school children come to the book fair to listen to the story. And on my right hand side, you can see a lot of people come to the book fair. Yep. And then beside the book fair we held every year in December, we also had the National Reading Day, which organized leading by the Ministry of Education along with other two ministries, including Ministry of Culture and Fine Art and Ministry of Information and its NGO partner. So the reading day is held every March. So December, Cambodia Book Fair, and then March is the reading day. During the National Reading Day, we have several events as part of the major event. We have reading competition for primary school students.
James.
And then we have poem reading for lower secondary school students, writing competition for upper secondary school, and forum on reading for general audience. And last but not least is the book exhibition we call book fair during this National Reading Day event. So you can see here is the photo activity of reading with children during the National Reading Day. And here are some books exhibition for children. And the last one is the third one is the International Children Book Day, which organized by IBBY and its NGO partners. And here are some activity that they do. They have just two main activity is the story. It's the book exhibition as well, and also the reading activity for the children. That they are two main component. And my right hand side, you can see that we have the Children International Book Day at the mall. Yeah. Regarding reading program, since we do not have a public library, so there is no any organization that really do a regular reading to early children. So most of the reading will be done when they are going to primary school. Very few at kindergarten, but mostly we start with the primary school. So I can show you some photo activity of reading by school, by National Library, NGO, and Youth Club. So as I informed earlier that most the reading activities start at the primary school, and here are some photos.
siguro siya.
Wala po kayong headset.
Here are some,
Baka po mag...
there are some microphone on. Okay, so here are some photo at the reading at the primary school, and you can see this is called a very nice and modern one, you know, as our library, but not many libraries look like this. So this library is supported by an NGO. It looks way better, nice and clean, but please know that not many libraries will look like this. And this the reading program run by the National Library, and as you can see that this is the model that our colleagues have learned from our Korean library counterpart. This is the reading program run by an NGO called SIPA. They have 19 mobile 19 van mobile library, 4 tuk-tuk library, and 1 boat library. So this NGO will their mobile library will go to the slum area, go to province to read books and loan book to children. And they have various themes. They have environment theme, they have STEAM theme, and yoga theme as well. So to me, when I visit them to conduct activity, I was so thrilled, so happy when I saw the tuk-tuk library drive through the village, and then the children just run after them. So this means that these children really into book and really into the reading activity that conducted by NGO. This is the reading activity that conducted by the youth club, as I mentioned earlier, since we do not have public libraries. So NGOs play this gap and they do some work to promote reading, but it's still limited. Along with that, we also have a youth club. These young people, they are in high school and they volunteer their time to read books to their young, to their two children in their village. So they have micro library supported by NGO but run by this youth club. And they have the backpack library which they bring book to children and they conduct reading activities to these children, and they do it regularly, particularly on Saturday and Sunday after school. So that's it for my presentation, and thank you for your attention.
Cambodia, and next Indonesia.
Thank you. Can I start? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Greeting from Indonesia, the Honorable Mr. Chok Pak, Director General of National Library for Children and Young Adults, and the Honorable all committee and participant of the first ASEAN Republic of Korea Children Reading Culture Development Committee General Meeting. Let me introduce myself. My name is Supriyadi. I am a Chief Librarian of the Center of Public and Special Libraries Development of the National Library of Indonesia. We would like to express our gratitude from the opportunity to present the current status of children's reading culture in Indonesia. Total population of Indonesia is 275,361,267. The child population of Indonesia is 33,921 for male, 32,263 for female, and it is 66,184 in total. For the young adults, there are 11,445 male, 10,755 female, and is 22,200 in total. Let me give a little description of the National Library of Indonesia according to Law Number 43 of 2007 about library. The National Library of Indonesia has 6 functions, which are deposit library, preservation library, research library, reference library, networking center, and library development. Hence, the National Library of Indonesia is responsible to lead 164,610 total libraries throughout Indonesia to become libraries of national standard. The number of the world collection is 2,889,180 copies. The number of children's collection, 35,659 copies. We have 591 librarians and 464 non-librarian staff. The number of visitors in 2021 is 171,938%, which the average visitor per day in 2021 is 494. This number is decreased compared to 2019 due the social restriction regulation in pandemic time. Policy goals, promotion among children. The ones peningkatan indeks literasi masyarakat or film, community literacy index improvement, the 2021 film event were held in 53 places, province, district, or city throughout Indonesia. The target of the film work program is positive support from the government, librarian, experts, academic, the community, and stakeholders in increasing the literacy index through empowering libraries to improve people welfare. This program is aimed to be the trigger of discussion and information sharing related to community literacy index and library empowerment. Campaign of on reading promotion, level national, local government, non-government, and school librarian. The first national reading ambassador of Indonesia, the reading ambassador of Indonesia is a motivator as well as role model for public figure in socializing the love of reading. Second, literacy mother. The election of the mother of literacy was carried out in every province in Indonesia, along with the film program. Third, storytelling competition. 34 elementary school student representative from 34 provinces in Indonesia competed in the storytelling competition. This event was held as a support for the culture of reading and literacy. Baca Jakarta, ini from local government, reading challenge comparing how much the children in the city of Jakarta can read within a certain period. Challengers are required to upload their photos of reading activities on social media using the hashtag Baca Jakarta 2022. Non-government, Read Aloud Indonesia, the challenge of making read aloud video with date of father death. And then school literacy movement or school readings corner, reading activity for 15 minutes before starting the lesson in the morning. Information, National Library Information, National Library, number of children library 1, number of library with children collection 1, number of library with children program 1, and then the level public library, number of children library, children exclusive library, 540. Number of library with children program 514. And then in level school, number of library with children program, school with library 130 541, age 6 to 18. Current status of children reading culture program in level national, government, non-government, and school. In national, it is film, community literacy index improvement. And then a local government librarian, and then non-government volunteer teacher, yeah. Local government, it is Ketupat Betawi, DKI Jakarta, Dolen Dongeng online, library time, and then in non-government, read aloud and backlist play, read aloud Indonesia, folklore, and vital performance, Rumah Dongeng Mentari, and third, surprise folklore storytelling, Ayo Dongeng Indonesia. And then in school, volunteer and teacher, one mobile library, literacy tourism of Magelang, and library time from DKI Jakarta. Dissemination of cooperation status on reading culture program among libraries by the national, local government, non-government, and school. Number one, national with national, it is library time, and then in national with local government, the election of storytelling competition. In national with government, Inspiring Literacy Weeks 2022 in Indramayu National Library Indonesia, and Wiki Hai Amin. Okay. Enough. Thank you very much for your attention.
인도네시아 발표 감사드립니다.
So I appreciate the presentation from Indonesia. Next, from Lao DPDR, please.
Okay, the organizer can share my video.
네, 라오스에서 약간 그 발표자를 준비하는데 문제가
In terms of
생겨서
preparing for presentation from Lao PDR, there is
발표자분과
a little bit of clinical,
발표자분
some technical glitch. So we'd like to move on to Malaysia first. So Malaysia presenter, would you please start your presentation?
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, before I start my presentation, I would like to share a screen first. Oh, I cannot share the screen because other participant is sharing. Hello, can everybody see my presentation? Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon. Selamat petang in Malay to all ladies and gentlemen from all Southeast Asia countries' libraries. Same greeting also goes to National Library for Young Adult and Children. First of all, I would like to thank to the organizer of the meeting for inviting me and my co-workers to participate in this project. I also would like to thank to the organizer for it's an honor to have opportunity to address such a distinguished audience today. I'm here to talk about my country report on current status of children's reading culture. So before I go further, I would like to introduce myself and my co-workers. That is me, Yazid Ibrahim. I'm a Deputy Director, Information Literacy Division, National Library of Malaysia. With my colleague, Madam Rohaiza Muhammad Rafi, Assistant Director, Land Research Division, and Dr. Sharina Shafawi, Assistant Director, Research Division. Okay, here is a little bit Malaysia facts and figure. Okay, region for Malaysia is Southeast Asia. Capital city for Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur. We have 40 states, and Malaysia population is about 32.7 million. And our main language is Bahasa Melayu or Malay language. Okay, this is the demographic information about Malaysia. Currently, we have about 7,586.5 million female, and for child population, for male, we have currently have for male child population currently we have about 0 to 4 is about 1.2 million, 5 to 9 years old, 1.3 millions, 10 to 14 years old, 1.3 millions. And female, we have 0 to 4 years old, 1.5 million, 5 to 9 years old, 1.2 millions, and 10 to 14, 1.2 millions. And we goes to young adult population, age 15 to 19. Male, we have 15 to 19 years old. Currently we have about 1.5 million, and for female, we have 1.2 millions. Okay, this is a brief statistic or information about National Library of Malaysia. Number of staff is currently we have 513 librarians, and our National Library of Malaysia membership is nearly 2 million, and our physical visitor for 2022 is 15,846 member for physical visitors. And online physical, currently we have 1.068749 million. Average per day is 44 visitors. And National Library of Malaysia, the whole collection is about 6.1 million. And children collection, currently we have 343,105 collection. And annually budget for National Library of Malaysia is about 167 millions for 2022. Now I've moved to current status of children reading culture, policy, goal already promotion among children. Actually, we have a 3 types of children reading policy. We have a government and non-government. For government, we have a policy on reading program, National Library of Malaysia strategic plan. The promotion plan, this is a lot of reading program for children that organized by the National Library of Malaysia, such as a reading seat, International Storytelling Festival Malaysia, Festival Sastra Kanak-Kanak or Children Literature Festival, a book to you, let read for 10 minutes, read aloud competition, my favorite reading, storytelling programs, provide digital collection, which is we have digital library, we call it U-Pustaka. In this U-Pustaka, all the children can access all the digital materials such as e-books, e-magazine, e-newspaper, and others through U-Library portal. Then we also have a National Information Literacy Agenda. Okay, this is an information literacy program organized or led by the National Library of Malaysia. Currently, we already produce the definition of information literacy and information literate. Currently, we are in the process to develop a new model to use that can use by all the library in Malaysia. Okay, the activity for National Library, National Information Literacy Agenda is Information Literacy Workshop, Media and Information Portal or ELM. Portal ELM is self-learning information literacy for all Malaysian. They can learn and study the information literacy by themselves. It's free. So if you like to access, you can go to this website, http://elm.pnm.go.my. And then we also organize the National Information Literacy Seminar and Global Information Literacy Week. Okay, the other, beside the government policy on reading and promotion among children, we also have a non-governmental that also have a policy on reading promotion among children. Okay, which is the Malaysia Board on Book for Young People or NBBY is a non-profit organization that serves as the Malaysian national section of the International Board on Books for Young People. Okay, so NBBY was established with the goal of promoting and disseminating good literature for children and youth. NBBY is committed to promotion of Malaysian children literature abroad as well as the introduction of foreign literature in Malaysia via the IBBY network, which cover over 70 countries. Its overall ambition is to build bridges between peoples and countries through children literature. Then I move on to campaign of reading promotion that organized by the National Library of Malaysia. First of all, I would like to introduce the first campaign is Let Read Together for 10 minutes. This is an annual library signature program jointly organized by the National Library of Malaysia and the State Public Library in Malaysia in conjunction with the World Book and Copyright Day celebration. Target group is all ages, from babies or from the kindergarten to the senior citizen. The objective of this campaign is to promote reading and publishing and copyright laws, to create reading awareness among citizens to read more books and become intellectual. Okay, the annual budget is about 20,000 ringgit Malaysia. So you can convert to your respective currency. Number 2 is a national reading program. National Library Program is various reading programs through smart partnership with ministry and other agencies in Malaysia, such as Ministry of Education, local universities, and others. The target group also all ages from kindergarten to the senior citizen. The objective is to carry out reading promotion program throughout the country to inculcate reading habit among Malaysians. And the budget is about 50,000 ringgit. So I can see in the photo, this is all the prominent figure in Malaysia. We have national laureate, Dr. Lee Switin, Dr. Raja Rashwaris, Sita Rahman, and also Dr. Jaini Ujan. These are all the prominent figure in Malaysia related to the books in Malaysia. Okay, and then number 3 is my favorite reading. Okay, my favorite reading is a program that widely organized in Malaysia. From school library to the national library, they all organize my favorite reading to inculcate the reading habit in Malaysia. Okay, my favorite reading involves celebrities, government officers, non-government agency, personality leaders, and other profession. The target groups all ages. Objective is to encourage public to read and explore the beauty of the book. The budget is about 10,000 ringgit. And then this year we also organize Book to You. Okay, Book to You is selected students from primary to secondary school to borrow book from the rural library under National Library of Malaysia, or in Malay we call it Perpustakaan Desa, whereby all the primary and secondary students that chosen to be the participant will weekly visit the rural library to borrow the books. At the end of the campaign, all the participants will do the synopsis, the selected book or their favorite book using the video. So they will make one video about synopsis of the book that they are read, or their the favorite book of that they choose. The budget is about 100,000 ringgit Malaysia. Okay, kemudian number 3 is information about library in Malaysia. Okay, in Malaysia we have one national library, and number of library with children collection beside the children library is currently we have 5 community library and 506 rural library. Okay, number of library with children program beside the children library, 4 community library and 506 rural library. And then number 2 is public library. Currently, as of 2021, we have 918 public library in Malaysia. Total number of library with children collection is about 31,623,846 collections. And number of library with children program is about 918 libraries. And then number 3 is school. School for age 6 to 12. Number of children library not available, but the total of school or school library is currently we have 10,584 government and private schools. And then number of library with children program also same 10,584, because all the school library in Malaysia, we organize the program and activity related to the reading culture. It's a compulsory in Malaysia. And library or staff library currently school in Malaysia, we don't have librarian, but we have a school teacher librarian, or school or we call it guru perpustakaan media, guru media and perpustakaan, or teacher media and library teacher. We call it media and library teacher. And then this is the current status of children reading culture program. Okay, National Library of Malaysia organized the International Storytelling Festival Malaysia or ISFM in 2031. Okay, this program successfully joined by 59,1070 participants and librarian, volunteer, teacher, all these involved in the organize of the International Storytelling Festival Malaysia. Okay, as you can see, all the storyteller is not only for Malaysia, we also are for Indonesia, Philippines, Korea, and we also have from Japan. And then this is reading seed. Okay, the reading seed is a literacy program for children together with their parents, in which the passion for literacy is being developed during their critical time in the development of their lifelong literacy. As part of the program, the National Library of Malaysia introduced reading to newborn babies via kits which were distributed to parents via public and budget library. This is a national level with the 7,180 participants, and the organizer is a librarian and volunteer. This is a very special program because this program is started before the baby is born, which is when the mother pregnant at 6 months pregnant until 3 years old. And then the last one is festival Sasa Kanak-Kanak or Children Literature Festival. National Library of Malaysia in collaboration with the Corporation Book City, Photo Book Council and Malaysian Book Publisher Association has organized the program on 4th until 6th October 2019 with the cost of 250,000. The objective of this program to support the development of literary industry and work children through workshop, storytelling from famous storyteller and competition in storytelling, and is to attract more visitors visit the National Library of Malaysia. This is a national level campaign with the participant of 31,301 and organized by the librarian and volunteers. Okay, this is the program NILAM, or reading is the heartbeat of knowledge. This is the Ministry of Education Malaysia program. This is organized the Malaysian of Ministry of Education. NILAM is an intensive reading program planned for our people in the school based on the first word in the Holy Quran, Iqra. The motto of the program, Nadi Ilmu Amalan Baca, is reading is the heartbeat of knowledge. It's introduced, the program is being carried out in the collaboration with the school library. This is a school library for all in Malaysia. A participant in school library in Malaysia, and the organizer is Mida and library teacher. NILAM is encourage a student to record all the book synopsis that they read. And the end of the year, will be one champion who they read the most book in 1 year. Okay, this is a current status of children reading culture, non-governmental. The Malaysian Board of Book Young People, MBY, is a non-profit organization that serves as the Malaysian national section of the International Board of Book for Young People. This is a conference organized by the MBBY. The TTA conference theme on power of the story was held 5 to 8 September in Putrajaya. The conference was attended by 300 participants comprising storytellers, book writers, librarians, and book producers from 70 countries. And then the last one is dissemination of cooperation status or reading culture program, library run by the national, local government, and no government and school. Okay. Ministry or a government agency mostly organized by the Ministry of Education Malaysia, University or School or Childcare, Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia, and also we have involved the NGO, publisher, book industry, authors and writers by Library Association of Malaysia. All this entity is the main player of children reading culture in Malaysia. Okay, that's all. Thank you for your kind attention.
네, 말레이시아 발표 감사드립니다.
Thank you, Malaysian presenter, for your presentation. Now we will go back to Lao PDR. Please start your presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very proud to share information to all of you today. First of all, I would like to extensively the chairman, the board committee of the Reading Culture Development Project, Excellency the director and the board director of the National Library for Children and Young Adults, Excellency Mr. Samlan Luang Aphai, the new director of the National Library of Laos, dear all participants. I'm a representative of Lao participants to report on the status of reading promotion and children reading culture in Laos. Okay, let's go to my presentation. About the status of reading promotion and children's reading culture in Laos, I will talk about three topics. The first is about population, the second is about the National Library situation, and the last is about the current status of children's reading culture. As we know that Lao PTI is located at the center of Indochina Peninsula. It borders many countries such as Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar, and China. This is surrounded by mountains, nobody to the sea. Lao PTI has 18 provinces. In the year 2021, has total population 7,338,000, has 3,662,000 female. The population in the age group between 0 to 14 years have 2,293,000 and 1,129,000 female. Population in the group between 15 to 19 years have 705,000 and 348,000 female. Next, I will talk about the situation of National Library. National Library has infrastructure under the Department of Literature and Publishing in the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. The National Library has responsibility to preservation, conservation, and intellectual property and cultural heritage, building, developing public library for library network, and reading promotion across Lao country. We aim to be the center of data information and also center library technical, sharing knowledge and experience about library work, college, or partnership in Laos and abroad for library development. National Library is located on Sivilai Village, Saitani District, Vientiane Capital, and has total of 28 staff with 16 female. National Library of Laos has 6 sections. In the year 2021, National Library has collected about book, magazine, newspaper, clipping, Indochina collection, palm leaf manuscript, audio-visual collection. As the main collection is the archive of traditional music in Laos. We collect these whole books about 431,657 volumes, Crucial Children's section, more than 14,959 volumes, which we have books in Laos and foreign languages such as Thai, Vietnamese, English, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and French. Next, I will talk about number of the visitors accessing the library. Services increasing every year, but from 2020 and 2021, during the pandemic, that caused a increasing number of visitors. But hopefully that from now the statistic of the visitor will be improved. Next, I would like to share and report about the status of reading culture in Laos. Based on the policy, as the rule and the National Library's responsibility in carrying out the library work, which the National Library has implemented to explain Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism strategic plan by 2025 and vision by 2050 toward development of cultural. And also based on the National Library Development Plan for the year 2020 to 2025, which define as a library development and reading promotion by creating understanding to government and non-government supporting to improve reading cultural and make people like and love in reading. That the National Library has created the Library Action Plan in 5 years as below. The first plan is enhancing knowledge and developing national and local librarian or library staff, building the public library network across the Lao country, provide books, magazine, newspaper, and library services supply, provide mobile library services to the community and school without library, improving and developing guidebooks for library services management and technical training, training of trainer in all library works, expect to aid placement, librarian or library staff, and raise awareness, and reading promotion festival and book fair. Plan have been strong development of library work, namely development of Lao people reading culture relentlessly. The campaign in reading promotions, I will give you 2 examples to report the effort of Lao librarian and library staff on public library services. In addition to reading services inside the library, we also have mobility services by bus and by boat, such as National Library of Laos has provided bus mobile library. Every year we do the community and school without the library in the remote area, which is provided during the school opening, such as 1 year divided into park on September to December and February to May. For the budgets to serve this campaign has got from the government and non-government as a public stunt. Each organization such as Comparison, IFA Japan, ALC, Personal Library Laos. And other example is the activities or campaign from Luang Prabang Province Public Library. They create reading promotion activities to community and school by boat. They cruise and services on the bank of Mekong and U River in Luang Prabang, Udom Sai, and Sanyaburi province. This campaign provides 1 time per month and every time used 10 days by librarian and volunteer, which many activities include touring, puppet show, painting and drawing, restaurant reading, book loudly, read in your mind, write from your read, and Q&A activities. For the budget to serve this campaign has got from the Special Library of U.S. Embassy in Laos. Next, I will talk about the number of libraries in Laos. In general, our country doesn't have a specific children's library, but we have a library with children's collection. We have 1 national library, 12 public libraries. You can see here is the number of 8,000 primary school, but we just have 1,956 school library. Next, let's look at the status of service for reading culture promotion, which National Library, Public Library, and public organization have done. About National Library, we provide reading promotion activity to community and school 3 times per week. We continue to contribute community and school library by cooperation with IFA Japan and ALC organization, workshop on creating activity to promote children's reading for teacher, workshop on capacity building for library services management and reading promotion activities and book fair during the important days such as National Day, International Children Day, International Literacy Day. And we organize reading promotion festival. And for the public library, as example, Luang Prabang Public Library, they create activities to community and school by boat, and they organize reading promotion activities and book fair during the important day as the same with the National Library. And for the public organization or non-governmental, they supporting and creating school or reading room with government corporation. They supporting and creating novel book, story book, and each learning book for reading promotion, information accesses, and literacy promotion. They support and organize reading promotion festival. And this is the picture for the reading promotion festival organized last month. And next, I would like to present about the cooperation status on reading culture program. There are many supporters and partnerships to library development for reading and education promoting in our country, also in the region, such as we cooperation with ASEAN Foundation, we cooperation with ALC organization, IFA Japan, and also with embassy in Laos, Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, China, and Vietnam, and other countries. And for the new cooperation of us for this year, last week we held the Digital Archive Center opening. It is cooperation and assistance from Korean government. This is my presentation, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Laos, for your presentation. Next, we would like to move on to Myanmar, please.
Thanks. Good afternoon, all of the participants from ASEAN countries and the children and young adults from Korea. I'm KTA from Myanmar. Today I will present, according to the current situation of Myanmar, I will present the children library activities and programs of Myanmar. These categories will be presented the presentation that is such as included will be presentation. I conducted a few surveys on the children program. Most of the children library are played by National Library, public library, community libraries, and school libraries. And currently, it is various situations, and also, despite facing challenges, most of them are trying hard to make children be interested in children books and reading habit. The role of children literature for children. Children literature has a lot of impact on children, age, philosophy, desire to learn, and need to know their interests. Children literature, book fairs, and children literature festival are often emphasized, and also the publishing of children book situation is very important to children. That story is Myanmar Storyteller Association is the book publishing in Myanmar. That is, it was founded in 2014. This group has created and produced a children book series in Burmese and multiple ethnic languages for distribution free of charge to 80,000 children across the country. Most of the storybooks are written and illustrated by Myanmar authors and artistic. And then next is the Library project in Myanmar. The Asia Foundation, Ministry of Information, the Myanmar Library Association, and local children's book publisher, Thur Story Project, launched their Library project in Myanmar in 2019. It is the book translation for children book from English to Myanmar. And it is a digital library with over 2,000 books in both Burmese and English, and aims to add more Burmese language books. The Asia Foundation's free digital library offers books in 24 languages, including Myanmar, and the Rakhine, Ching, and Kachin, with plans to add additional titles and languages as the project grows. And then next is, I would like to present the school library project in Myanmar. In 2022, in this year, in collaboration with Myanmar Library Association and Department of Business Education, school library project to support the school library development and to over experience get in Myanmar. Myanmar Library Association provides the training for teacher librarians from 200 schools. This project are implementing the whole country of Myanmar, but the exception and chaos because the two states are now facing the various situations. And then there are two national libraries in Myanmar. One are located in Yangon, another one is located in Naypyidaw. Both two national libraries offer children library services in currently. A few service contacted you to get information current status of children reading culture in Myanmar. Most of the children libraries are contacted by national library, public libraries, school libraries, monastery libraries, and community libraries. Generally, in current situation, most of the libraries are run by their library services to the children library services. National Library in the 2021 last year to reopen of the National Library Yangon and Naypyidaw to provide library services from physically. So it provides the children services with its collection of the interesting and knowledge book, including local and international periodicals and children books for supporting for children services. National Library Yangon is now reopened at the top floor of the building. They arranged the children reading room and the storytelling reading room. At present, the children collections are mainly the materials for preschools and elementary student schools, as well as the curriculum related books by grade which one published in Myanmar. And then during the pandemic, most of the public could not visit the library. Library has been already provided the electronic resources by online as a children literature books and audio books are arranged in IG database. So user or any children user can rent and read the children books from the database by online. So online services were pushed for electronic resources towards the patron using the library website. And then another program is online public programs. And 2022 beginning start the National Library Yangon launched the Homemade Face project. This project is a video of the various phases was created by librarians and posted weekly on the National Library Facebook page. National Library invited the public and any interested people to participate in this program. Because of the purpose of this project is to create a variety of phases and then create an exhibition for the children. National Library will continue to carry out the exhibition program if there is an opportunity to provide for children. And another children activities and programs conducted by National Library and some community libraries because of this poetry introduction program. This program is the poetry recitation through the National Library Facebook page and Community Library Facebook page. The poetry recitation program focuses on selected poems from the Burmese curriculum of basic education, primary and secondary level, and children can recite the poem and all interested people can participate in the program. Utilizing social media like Facebook was very helpful as a platform to virtual interaction with the librarian and the user and librarian, also their children. And also National Library is providing the storytelling programs, physical and online. It is every Saturday at the library. Most of the storytellers are children librarians, children themselves, and then the volunteers do the talking in the program. And the library program is started in 2022 June. It provides a reading opportunity for children. It's conducted in every Saturday at the library in which separate the storytelling time. Choose the books from library and read together. After reading the book, ask and discuss the contents of the book together with the children and the librarian. And another program is painting and color drawing program is also be provided as appropriate by National Library. And due to the school invitation program, most of the students and teachers are visited to the National Library Yangon. And also, in the other hand, National Library in Bureau also providing children programs. It has been providing reading service, storytelling, book review, and also paper craft making are demonstrated in weekly by online through the National Library in Bureau Facebook page. And also last month, November 25 to 27, 3 days, National Library in Bureau hold the Children Literature Festival. They invited students from the schools in Nipiro Township to take part in the events. The Children Festival focuses expand the knowledge of the horizon. Excuse me. Sorry. Community center, 70% of the population in Myanmar lives in rural areas. There are 432 public libraries that are called information and public relations run by the government around the country. In every township, it is under the control of the Ministry of Information. The number of community libraries is over 6,000 in Myanmar. In Yangon, there are 481 community-based libraries. Libraries play an active role in the country, and they exist mostly in rural and remote communities. And through the public library and children corner road, public libraries are trying to transform the community center. There are less children library services throughout the country. Some community centers are trying to promote children library services in public libraries, but there are no regular programs for children in the libraries. And also there next is the most important is the monastery school library. As a country with strong Buddhist traditions, Myanmar has thousands of monasteries across the country, a vast number of which have libraries. Many of these have evolved to play a more public library-like function, and they are open to the public. In currently, some monasteries are providing the library services and encourage the reading habit for children and young adults, as well as being able by themselves. In this research, I contacted one monastery library. The name of the 한-아세안 library, it was opened in 2002, and it is located in Auditorium region. This monastery library is paying to promote children library services such as practice reading habit, book landings, and other programs are conducted their library. Reading promotion of children library as online service. This presentation based on a few surveys of children library action at some state and regions of Myanmar. The majority of the participant libraries, which are located in urban, some are in the rural areas, as well as in the capital of Nipiro, Yangon, and other states and regions are included in this survey question. Challenges of children libraries in current situation. One of the challenges for development of children library is less time for children to read apart from the school curriculum. It is also related to the using habit of children library for the children. Some monastery schools are attempting to set up well-equipped school libraries in their schools. And the future plans of the children libraries of Myanmar, and to enhance reading promotion activities for children and young adults, and to extend the children library services to membership programs, to provide training programs of children to learn to read and maintain books and literature in a systematic manner. And also in my conclusion, nowadays with the advancement of technology, children are beginning to explore the use of technology and are changing their reading habits. As librarians, parents, and guardians, it is important to guide children in what they should study and read. In order to improve children's libraries and to develop children's reading habits, with the cooperate of schools, parents, the teachers, librarians, and relevant organizations are very important to develop for children reading habits. That's all. Finished about my presentation. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for your presentations, and I will now give the floor to the Philippines.
Mabuhay, greetings from the Philippines. My name is Eugene De Vasco. I'm a professor of children's literature and creative writing. Now I will be presenting to you our report on the current status of children's reading culture in our country. Next slide. According to Philippine Statistics Authority, dated August 12, 2022, the Philippines has a child population this year of 17,269,436 male and 16,144,809 female children, ages 0 to 14 years old, with a total of over 33 million children. Next slide. And for the youth population, we have 16,013,645 male and 15,388,328 female young adults ages 15 to 30 years old, with a total of 31,401,973 youth. Next slide. I will be presenting some information about the National Library of the Philippines. Next slide. In this photo, next slide, please, you will see the children's section of the National Library established on July 18, 2006. This particular section was established to promote the love for books and reading. Next. Our library is located in Teodoro and Calao Street, named after the library's first director and considered as the father of Philippine library system, in the historic district of Ermita in Manila. We have a collection of 653,668 volumes of books and 10,662 volumes of children's books. You can visit our website at web.nlp.gov.ph. Next. As of this year, we have 55 librarians and 142 librarian staff. The library has an annual budget of 208,275,000 pesos, Philippine peso, or 3,720,457 US dollars. Last year, there were 304,567 visitors, with an average of 1,531 visitors per day. Next slide. To create children's reading culture program, we have a framework borrowed or adapted from the World Bank. These are the following. Number 1, assure political and technical commitment to making all children literate. Number 2, ensure adequate amounts of effective instruction by supported teachers. 3, provide quality age-appropriate books and texts to children. 4, teach children first in the language they speak and understand best. And finally, foster children's language abilities and love of books and reading. Next slide. For the last 5 years, the Philippines has been doing related projects such as measuring learning poverty by teachers of Department of Education, monitoring children's reading progress, ensuring sufficient class time for reading, providing reading teacher support through free webinars, lectures, and conferences, having book production chains that function to make text available, affordable, or free, relevant, and used, ensuring that children become literate first in their first language through our mother tongue-based multilingual education program, or MTB-MLE, and engaging parents and caregivers to read to and to read with children at home each day. Next slide. Some of our current projects on reading promotion for children are the following. Number 1, the National Book Week, proclamation number 109 since 1936, or designating the period from November 24 to 30 each year as the National Book Week. This year, we celebrated the 88th edition of National Book Week with the theme Basa, Bayan, Bukas, or Reading, Country, Future. Next slide. Promotion plans for our National Book Week include the following: digital poster making contest, Filipino book character online costume contest, Readers Theater online contest, library book display online contest, and a parade of Filipino book characters. Next slide. In this slide, we can see photos of a parade of Filipino book characters in Iloilo City. These are characters from our folk tales, legends, pre-colonial history, mythology, and contemporary children's literature. Next slide. In this slide are samples of contest winners for digital poster making, and book character online costume contest. Next slide. Next program is the Book Publishing Industry Development Act, or Republic Act 8047. It is recognized that the book publishing industry has a significant role in national development, which are products of the citizenry's intellectual, technical, and cultural development. Because of this program, the Philippines established the National Book Development Board and the Book Institute of the Philippines. And through these institutions, the Philippines can now participate in international book fairs, such as the Frankfurt, London, and Sharjah book fairs. Next slide. Some of the plans of book publishing development are: number one, to expand registered stakeholder base to include entire publishing value chain, incentivize and provide development opportunities for registered stakeholder base, and to increase programming and book access for the Filipino public. Next slide. In this section, I will share some campaigns on reading promotion in the Philippines. Number one is the book cart of the National Library of the Philippines. The purpose of the NLP book cart is to reach out to young children who do not have the means and access to reading materials, and to promote the habit of reading and lifelong predilection for learning by easing access to reading materials. The program promotes reading and learning by providing storytelling and read aloud sessions, along with the other activities such as arts and crafts. Second, the Book Nook of the National Book Development Board. The Book Nook is the recent project of the MBDB. It creates friendly and small reading spaces in different rural parts of the country. Book Nooks are reading and art spaces filled with Filipino authored books designed for children and young at heart to develop the love for Philippine books. Next, the Brigada Pagbasa, or Reading Brigade program of World Vision and the Department of Education. Some programs include nationwide storytelling sessions and reading remediation training. What is Brigada Pagbasa program? Next slide, please. It is a national movement. Next slide, please. It is a national movement for reading that aims to bring together all education champions and supporters to contribute to nation building by helping all Filipino children enhance their reading skills in the context of partnership. Some partners include NHLUA, teachers, librarians, authors, illustrators, and literature and education major. Next slide. We have the National Children's Book Day celebration by the Philippine Board on Books for Young People and the Cultural Center of the Philippines. This event is celebrated every third Tuesday of July to commemorate and honor the publication of our national heroes' book or story, Monkey and the Turtle. PBBY and CCP sponsor literary and illustration competitions, storytelling activities, book fairs, book summit, illustration exhibition, book awards, lectures, and workshops in different parts of the country. Next part of my report is the information about Philippine libraries. Next slide. According to the Book Development Association of Philippines, the country has a total of 1,506 libraries. We have 1,107 public libraries, 51 are provincial libraries, 4 congressional libraries, 100 city libraries, and 535 municipal libraries, and 427 barangay or town libraries. In the Philippines, we have 363 academic libraries and 26 specialty libraries. Next slide. But we only have 3 children's libraries or libraries exclusively for children. 1 national library with children's section and 222 libraries with children's collection and children's program. Next slide. Most of the Filipinos are not aware of the presence of libraries in their barangay or town and municipality. This accounts to 87% and 57% respectively. Next slide. It is interesting to note that majority of respondents claim that to be unaware of the location of the nearest public library. This should come as no surprise. Okay, no surprise, given the huge ratio of libraries to people. The number of libraries to be divided by the country's population of about 100 million would be at staggering 66,401 people to 1 library. Next slide. What is the current situation of our children's reading program? For the national level, the National Library has 2 programs, the Live Kwentuhan or live storytelling and Online Kwentuhan or online storytelling, with over 13,000 views and 21,000 views respectively. The programs are a series of live interviews with librarians, authors, and illustrators of children's books. Online storytelling sessions and puppet shows feature locally published children's books and stories from the Let's Read Digital Library. It is a public awareness program that promotes literacy by providing facts, trivia, and general information presented through an entertaining puppet show. Here are the samples, next slide, are some samples of publicity materials of online storytelling programs by the National Library of the Philippine Cuentistas or storytellers. Next slide. To remedy the lack of libraries perhaps, reading materials and learning spaces for children, SM Premier Aura, a mall in Bonifacio Global City, Taguig, created the Book Nook. This is different from the Book Nook project of the National Book Development Board. This commercial institution created a storytelling corner, a mini library for all ages, and a book donation drop box. Participants include private individuals, volunteer librarians, storytellers, and private donors. Next slide. For local governmental level, we have Basa Kasadya program or Reading is Fun program by the Department of Education, Division of Aklan, a province in the Visayas region. Activities include mystery reading program, mini reading corner, reading ambassador program, meet the author session, and donation of educational reading materials. Next slide. Here are the photos of Basa Kasadya program in different sites in Aklan. Next slide. And finally, from the non-governmental organization level, ABC Plus, Summer Institute of Linguistics, and the Asia Foundation created the following projects. Number 1, creation of decodable books or phonics for children in different Philippine indigenous languages such as Bicolano, Ikyanon, Tagalog, Linocanda, Hiligaynon, and Maguindanao. Development, illustrating, and translating ebooks in several native languages aside from the national and official languages, Filipino or English language. Capacity building activities like seminars, lectures, write shop or workshop for writers, conferences for illustrators, And participants include teachers, writers, illustrators, community development staff, social workers, editors, translators, etc., etc. Next slide. Here is a photo documentation of the program. Next slide. This is the end of my report. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Maraming salamat. Thank you very much.
필리핀 발표 감사드립니다.
Thank you for your presentation. From the Philippines, next, Singapore, please.
Hi, hang on, let me share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see it. Good afternoon, everyone. So I am Ranita from the National Library Board of Singapore. So today I'm going to share with you our current efforts for children and teens aged 0 to 17. So our vision at NLB is to nurture readers for life, to grow learning communities, and to build a knowledgeable nation. In total, we have 27 public libraries, and we will have a new library opening in January next year, the Punggol Regional Library, which will be our first fully accessible library to cater to patrons with all kinds of disabilities, be it visual or hearing impairment, immobility, or those with autism spectrum disorder, ASD. Our total physical collection is about 4.7 million, and our total digital collection size is almost 700,000. Our children's collection makes up about 1.4 million materials. And even during COVID, close to 12 million people visited our libraries in 2021. This is a snapshot of our program numbers. Based on this slide, you'll be able to see the number of programs and participants for those who attended all our programs targeted at babies and those up to 6 years old. And here we have a number of programs conducted for children and teens who are aged 17 to 17 years old. Overall, although our numbers are increasing, as you can see from FY21 and FY22, but we still haven't returned to pre-pandemic participant numbers. But we are confident with the range of programs that we are pushing out and some of the new things that we are doing, which I will share with you later, we are confident that the numbers will continue to grow next year in 2023. Last year, NLB embarked on our new strategic 5-year plan, Lab 25, which is the Libraries and Archives Blueprint 2025. It is our invitation for partners and the community to collaborate with us on our journey of innovation and experimentation to reimagine libraries and the archives. With Lab 25, NLB is developing an omni-channel network of library and archive services as the Singapore economy restructures and as society learns to deal with the challenges of the pandemic. And we have identified 4 key roles to help our citizens. Firstly, it is building a learning marketplace that encourages people to learn from wherever they are and to be able to access materials so that they can continue their lifelong pursuit for information. Secondly, it is nurturing and informed citizen. We want people who can reflect deeply and to be thoughtful about the things that they encounter every day. And we also then want to inspire Singapore storytellers to connect people to Singapore stories that are old and also that are retold. And last but not least, to being an equalizer, to ensure that no one is left behind as Singapore digitizes rapidly and everyone continues to have access to library services. So currently, NLB is developing learning communities where we connect patrons with similar learning interests, leveraging on the timeless power of libraries as relevant and effective community and social spaces for people to come together. And we call them our LearnX communities. These communities include a parenting club that is run by various interested and enthusiastic parents who take turns to share specific ways and tips to engage children in good reading habits or interests, such as science experiments or learning to play the violin. And another parenting club known as Parent Support Group aims to share alternative parenting perspectives and up-to-date tips and tricks to parents on how they can parent their children better. We also started a Dungeons and Dragons Learnex community run by Legitimate Business, which is a professional company that prides themselves on running Dungeons and Dragons campaign adventures. The whole concept of the game is on creating narratives, developing characters, and ensuring the roll of the dice helps one's character advance in the adventure. So currently we have about 101 Learnex communities across all the age groups. At NLB, we curate services and programs for all age groups from children right up to adults, but focusing solely on the 0 to 6-year-olds and the 7 to 17-year-olds. For the younger ones, we aim to develop the early literacy skills, which includes understanding concepts of STEM, or STEAM, which is basically science, technology, engineering, arts, math. And at the same time, we also want to help children learn about sustainability. For 7 to 17-year-olds, we aim to build 21st century skills within them, such as digital literacy, the ability to inquire and investigate media sources, as well as navigating their journey into professional adulthood. So moving on, I will share with you more of what we are doing for the younger ones. So for the very young children, we offer a suite of library services and resources that aims to help preschool educators and parents nurture a love for reading among the young ones. And our programs and services are focused on key areas of reading, digital, sustainability, and science. So in addition to the topics that we want to focus on, our programs for the 0 to 6-year-olds follow the 5 early literacy practices, which are the play, write, sing, talk, and read. And we also aim to teach these very young children the foundational literacy skills of vocabulary, print awareness, phonological awareness, narrative skills, letter knowledge, and print motivation. So here are examples of our current reading projects and campaigns. First, here we have our A Book a Day reading campaign to encourage parents to read at least one book with their child every day. And this campaign has 2 parts. Firstly, it's a lucky draw where children can participate and win book prizes when they borrow at least 30 books a month. And second, we have a reading journal where children paste a sticker on the calendar page when they have finished reading a book. They can also redeem coupons from the reading journal after they finish a week's worth of reading. And these coupons have fun activities that they can do with their parents to reward them for reading. Next, we have our regular reading programs for babies, toddlers, 1 to 3-year-olds, as well as preschoolers who are 4 to 6-year-olds. So our programs currently happen on Zoom. We also have on-site programs at our libraries, and we also have inclusive sensory programs for children with disabilities. During the pandemic, we started our digital storytime project to engage children through storytelling, even when the libraries were not open. And we continue to have our digital storytelling program. We partner with various corporate organizations, such as the Jane Goodall organization and Singapore Airlines, to volunteer to create monthly storytelling videos. And we also scaled up on inclusivity, especially by engaging organizations who cater to people with disabilities, such as the Singapore Association for the Deaf, who tell stories in sign language as the narrator reads the book. Views for our storytime videos can range from 5,000 to 25,000 on our YouTube channel. Aside from digital storytime, we also partner with Storytelling Association of Singapore to bring to families the 398.2 Storytelling Festival. This is an annual storytelling festival by enthusiastic storytellers who will tell stories from all over the world to promote fairy tales, folk tales, and fables. In line with our role as the equalizer, we pay special attention to children from low-income families. We created a ready-to-read at NLB starter kit program for babies and toddlers, which contain vocabulary cards, including high-contrast cards, as they are easy for babies to focus on and can encourage their vision development, as well as colorful cards introducing transportation, food, and animals. And there is also an activity booklet for parents to do with their children to foster reading. There is also a board book and a read and win rewards program with a lucky draw for children to win free books and vouchers. So we have to collaborate with welfare organizations in order to ensure that these kits are distributed to the underprivileged children. Another program that we have for underprivileged children is Kids Read. This is a weekly reading club for children that consists of story time, independent reading, and STEAM activities conducted solely by volunteers. So NLB conducts Train the Trainer, where we will train the volunteers and we will prepare all the resources, including the reading activities and the books to be shared for the children for their weekly sessions. Each club has about 20 to 30 children, and this program has been running for 18 years so far. This slide has examples of resources that we give to selected preschools to complement their curriculum and to enrich the child's learning experience. We know that it is very important to provide parents and educators with information, tips and skills to help them cultivate reading interest in their children. So here we have sharing some examples of workshops and networking sessions that we organize for parents and educators to help them understand the importance of reading, how to choose age-appropriate books, and how to provide them with tips to encourage a love of reading in young children through fun activities. Here's an example of how we partner with a local preschool organization, one of the anchor operators, to provide reading workshops and resources for parents. Okay, next I move on to what we do for children and teens. So for these older children, reading promotion efforts strive to develop reading communities, make knowledge come alive, and empower them to learn and to discover. We promote a library-going culture through interactive programming, such as Choose Your Own Library Adventure. This is an interactive virtual quest to learn about public libraries and services. It encourages children to explore the library through checklists and also by introducing them to special library features, book lists, and quizzes. And librarians also film video trailers to make the experience more immersive. We also have attractive themed book promotion drives, such as Monsters United, to bring children and families to the public libraries. And Monsters United are 4 beloved monsters who expand children's reading appetites by introducing them to different genres such as adventure, fantasy, science fiction, and horror through library programs and book lists. And this year, we created an original animated book for the monsters to tell their own stories. One of our most successful children's programs to date is BookBugs. Now in its 4th iteration, BookBugs is a bug-themed collectible card game targeted at children to encourage reading in both English and the mother tongue languages. Children borrow books and then they earn points to redeem playing cards. BookBugs has seen great engagement on social media and at the public libraries and is one of the most talked about NLB initiatives among parents and children in Singapore. The bug characters are book-inspired and accompanied by a Bugtopian newsletter to get children immersed in the world of BookBugs. We also organize fringe activities like the BookBugs Community Day, which is happening now in December at the public libraries, where children can share fan stories and artworks, play friendly matches with fellow fans, exchange cards to get to complete their whole collection, and redeem exclusive memorabilia. Just from March this year to December, more than 2 million BookBug cards have already been redeemed, translating to about 10 million loans from our public libraries. To strengthen the reading culture in Singapore, librarians also promote reading on-site in schools through outreach activities like storytelling and book talks. And we also create resources and guides for parents and educators. We are also designing inclusive programs for children with special needs, from adding sensory elements to storytelling sessions to adding visual aids in regular programs. We want to make libraries more welcoming and provide more equal access to learning resources. As part of Lab 25, NLB has identified 8 key areas of focus for the modern Singapore citizen. For children and teens, we want to accelerate their reading literacy, encourage their natural curiosity for discovery and invention, ensure they are tech-savvy individuals in our smart nation, and that they know how to create a sustainable community for future generations. So in line with this, for children and teens, we pay greater attention to the 5 key focus areas in blue boxes on this slide. And we have created frameworks with specific learning outcomes to guide our curation of relevant and engaging collections, content, and programs. So this is an example of one of our digital frameworks where we want the objective of digital learning focus areas is to raise awareness of technologies and how it affects our lives, promote further learning and adoption, and empower innovation and creation through digital technology. Hence, our programs are aligned with these learning outcomes, and here are some examples of our digital programs. Partners that we work with bring in technology and expertise that is trendy for children, such as coding blocks or 3D pens. Likewise, the science learning focus area aims to fuel a spirit of curiosity in children and teens and help them grow as scientifically literate citizens. Hence, the objective include developing core knowledge of the concepts of science, sparking interest and curiosity, and application of science knowledge and skills in real-world contexts. So our science offerings come in program series like Budding Scientists and Budding Engineers, with hands-on workshops and activities for children to get up close and personal with scientific processes. And our programs for children and teens include explorations of physics, biomaterials, and even forensic science. For our sustainability learning focus area, we strive to encourage awareness, curiosity, and the love for nature, as well as understand how and why we should adopt a sustainable lifestyle. Here, you can see children engage in hands-on activities like farming, learning the processes of seed sowing, transplanting and harvesting in the first 2 photos. And the third photo shows children turning used drink cartons into paper through pulping. And the last 2 photos show sustainability class visit featuring sustainability-themed storytelling with a tour of the hydroponics showcase at the Choa Chu Kang Public Library. Our libraries are becoming sites in which library goers can explore not just books, but also nature. NLB aims to make the library a one-stop portal for knowledge and learning. Thus, these learning focus areas also culminate in larger events such as the STEAM Lab. This is an annual event for children and teens to engage in an all-round tinkering experience on topics related to science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths through an experiential model that encourages them to act, reflect, and create. Finally, our efforts include creating avenues to empower readers to continue the journey of learning and reading on their own. We have 2 portals to help provide accessible resources online to augment children's reading journeys. First is LearnX, an NLB learning platform where children can choose what, when, and how they learn. And LearnX has resources across the learning focus areas. These resources are curated by librarians to spark children's interest in a particular topic and guide the acquisition of knowledge deeply and broadly. Each topical learning pathway consists of playlists, learning packages, and program listings related to that learning focus area. Playlists are simple explanatory videos related to specific topics, and learning packages are bite-sized information with tips for parents, book recommendations, suggested activities, and information on upcoming programs happening at the libraries. Discover Reads is our other resource platform with do-it-yourself resources for students, school holiday videos, bookmarks, resources, and much more. And you can check out all the websites through the URLs that are provided in this PowerPoint when the slides are shared with you. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the presentations, Singapore. And now I will give the floor to the Thailand, and we have 2 presenters for Thailand's.
Yes. May I have share screen, please? Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tyler. I would like to introduce our committees of the National Library of Thailand. This slide is show the information of operations of the in Thailand. It have a separate in a child population age 1 to 12 by male and female total 9,102,904 and young adult populations age 13 to 19 by male and female total 5,621,745. This slide, I would like to present the current status of children reading culture, number of the whole collections of the National Library, and the next number of the employees. We have 59 librarians and 85 non-librarian staff. The budget in the 2021, 57,416,100 baht. The number of visits per year at 2021, 1,006,796. Average per the 2,852.
Can you please
Executive
share your
department, we have
screen?
four
I'm sorry to
groups.
interrupt.
One, the Information Resources Development Group. The second, the Information Resources Service Group.
Excuse me. Excuse
Yes.
me.
Can you
Yes.
please share your screen?
Yes.
Can you share your screen?
Can you please
Can you
share
please
Yeah,
share
yeah.
your screen?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
I'm
Yes,
sorry
I
for the
can share
interruptions, but can
already.
you please share the screen?
Yes, I share screen already.
Oh, you're sharing your screen, but we can't really see
You can see the screen.
the presentation file now.
Can you see the screen, please?
Yet.
Can you give me a second, please?
Yes, okay.
Oh, yes, now we can see it.
Yes,
I
we.
see.
You can see it?
Yes, I see.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. This slide, I would like to introduce our committee of the National Library. Yes. In this slide, you can see this slide. Yes, the information operations of the in Thailand. Population total 66,107,892. In the separate into child populations is 0 to 12, total 9,102,904, and young adult total 5,621,745. I would like to present the current status of children reading culture, number of the whole collections of the National Library, and the next number of the employee. We have 59 librarians and 85 non-librarian staff. The budget 57,416,100 baht. Number of visitor per year in 2021, 1,006,796. Executive department, we have four groups. One, the Information Resources Development Group. Two, the Information Resources Service Group. Three, the Library Research and Development Group. And four, the Manuscript and Inscription Group. The website of the National Library, www.nlt.go.th. I would like to show you the website www.nlt.go.th and Facebook www.facebook.com/National Library Thailand. The current we have the policy for children reading culture. The policy for Ministry of Culture. Master Plan for Promotion Reading Culture 2017-2021. promotion plan providing online reading access, budget 500,000 baht. The detail of the National Library campaign for children listening culture. 1. Thai National Children's Day. It has been celebrated on the second Saturday on January every year, promoting readings and fun activities for children, introduce them to their significance, grow toward the development of the country. 2. Kid inspirations. Activities set up for enhancing reading skill and their creativity for kids. Storytelling, activity making, do it yourself, and making products them to their significance grow toward the development of the country. 3. NLT entertainment. Talk and seminar with the writer, instructor, and specialists related to the books, arts, and culture. And the last one, smart library. The library that does not have any printed books, which are especially designed for online readings and provide co-working space. This is an activity image of a children reading culture. This is a group of children to visit the National Library. The number of children library. The number of children libraries, we have the National Library in middle in the capital city 1 and the public library 11 branches of the National Library. The detail of the current status of children's reading culture program. 1. Thai National Children's Day, providing promote readings and fun activity developments of the country. 2. Kid inspirations activity sets up for enhancing reading skill and share activity for kids. 3. NLT entertainment, talk and seminar with the writer, instructor, or specialist. And 4. Smart library, online reading and providing co-working space. This is the picture show visits the lab book collection, the children's book zone, and the children visit the King Lama 9 Music Library for original records music. On topic study of the ISBN for children's publications in Thailand during the COVID-19 pandemic. The study aimed to analyze two international standard book number or ISBNs of children's publication, which is assigned by the National Library of Thailand through the e-service system. Over 4 years of 2018 to 2022 as the impacts of COVID-19 pandemic and provide information of children's publishings for supporting the planning and strategy for the developing of children reading culture program. The objects of the study are first to analyze ISBN children's publication during COVID-19 pandemic during 2018 to 2022, and second, to provide information of children's publishings for planning and strategies for the developing of children reading culture program. For the last, to shortly introduce ISBN agency in Thailand. The National Library of Thailand by ISBN, ISSN, and Press at divisions is ISBN Thailand agency assigned ISBN since 1978 for the 44 years until 2022. ISBN Thailand agency had assigned under the ISBN user manual, International Edition 7 editions, International ISBN agency, London, UK in 2017. There are important of the area for types of publishings eligible for ISBN, such as print book, audiobook, ebook, microfilm, and any types of publication non-eligible for ISBN, such as continued resources, printed for marketing, advising, personal of document. Prefix elements of Thailand European article numbering uniform code, cursive EAN is 974. Registration group elements of Thailand is 616. The e-service system of the National Library of Thailand provide ISBN, ISSN, Press Act, and CIP. There are 5 easy steps for ISBN assignment to publisher, which are 1. Registration. 2. Fill the ISBN application form. 3. Generate barcode. 4. Publish. And 5. Submit to NLT for 2 copies under the Press Act. Since the first outbreak of COVID-19 in Thailand was confirmed on January 12, 2020, for a total of 2 years and 10 months until November 12, 2022, the more normal of ISBN expectancy before the COVID-19 pandemic during year 2018 to 2019 was 19,881 number. Book formats for ISBN remained high capacity from 2018 to 2022, which was 86 to 93% of all publications, while ebook format was 7 to 14% of all publication. The ISBN assignment for children publication from 2018 to 2022 was 21 to 23% of all publication. During 2018 to 2022, under the classifications of 6 children's publications, comic were highest capacity of ISBN assignments for children's publications, followed by textbook, educations, the mathematics, and encyclopedia. In this study, the result relevance of the statistics of the books Expo Thailand. The number of visitors and sales increased by 89% and 40% and 74% respectively, compared of the 50 National Book Week held in March this year. In this study, the result relevance of the statistics of the book Expo in 2022. The number of visitors, yes, as this it is to show the picture. This is the example of the comics book in Thailand's historical comics book and traditional culture. Further study summaries discuss the first outbreaks of COVID-19 in Thailand was confirmed on January 12, 2020. Recommendations of the study concern that key performance of children's publication in Thailand's comic publication. National Library should look forward to plannings and strategies for the development of children's reading culture program by focus on comic publications in first priority. Thank you. Do you have? Yes.
I thought we have the second presenters from the Thailand.
Excuse me. Yeah. The second presentation, yes. Pundapha. He is one now.
Presentation is already present at the ISB. The statistic already. Please the next country.
Is there a second presenter from Thailand? If you have any presentations, please share the material and begin the presentation.
Yes, excuse me, Miss Navarat, the representative from Thailand is already present. You can continue the next country.
And hi everyone. I would like to thank special from Asian countries for sharing very useful information. Now I'm going to share on current status of children reading culture in Vietnam. In Vietnam, thanks to the attention of the government, we have good policy on promoting children reading culture. We have law on libraries. The Prime Minister has approved 3 documents. First, the project on developing reading culture in communicator. Second, the program on digital transformation of libraries. And third, the directive on promoting innovating in the library activity to develop skill in reading, assessing, and processing information for children. This document has created the legal framework and motivation for developing children reading culture in Vietnam. The common goals of the project on developing reading culture in the community was identified to build and develop reading habits, needs, skill, and movement among all classes of people, especially young people, teenagers, pupils, and students. Next, I would like to give a brief introduction to our reading promotion campaigns for children. On national scale, the whole country celebrated the Vietnamese Book and Reading Culture Day. Our government encourages organizations and individuals to invest the development of reading culture, especially for children. Vietnam also have 2 special awards, the Annual Reading Culture Development Award by Ministry of Culture, Sport and Tourism, and the annual National Book Award by the Ministry of Information and Communication. On the local scale, we have the following campaigns. First, Book by Pupil. It is a program where library deliver books to school, hospital, and other places need to serve children. Second, public library holds a campaign that encourages children to recommend and introduce books through summer festivals. Another program is storytelling for children. Many pupils participate in this program, including librarian, teacher, volunteer, and parent. And finally, the reading culture promotion among children program is widely applied at the local scale. For non-governmental institutions and schools, similar campaigns are implemented. Especially, we have carried out a campaign to set up friendly libraries, green libraries, open libraries, SLY, parent bookcase in school. Vietnam has a large network of libraries that offer children service, including the National Library, as well as public, non-governmental, and school libraries. However, there are only 3 children exclusive libraries and very few public and non-governmental libraries that have a separate children's room. Most libraries have implemented many programs to promote children reading. Here are some specifics about the current status of children reading culture program on the national scale. We have 2 big programs that attract a large number of children. Those are the Book and Reading Culture Festival and the Reading Culture Ambassador Contest. With the participate nearly 1 million pupils and students in 2021. On the local scale, public and school library provides the program for guiding children how to read books and use library, with participation of about 10 million children per year. In addition, most public libraries implement the mobile service, which serves about 20 million children per year. On the non-governmental scale, many programs from United Nations, Japan, Korea, and Asia Foundation have implemented. For example, Room to Read Vietnam and our project Reading Together have implemented some programs to provide support to school and small library and children, especially disabled children. Regarding cooperation status, there are a cooperation program between Ministry of Culture, Sport and Tourism and the Ministry of Education and Training, whereby there are a close coordination between the public library and school. Public library provide books to serve children at school. More than 10 million children have benefit from this partnership. They are allowed to read book, use computer, watch movie through the service of public library. In conclusion, children reading culture in Vietnam has been improved in recent years thanks to the effective policies. Libraries have also put a lot of effort into innovating its operation. Many NGOs and volunteer reading programs has also been carried out. As a result, children have better opportunities to read books and access information. However, we are currently facing some big challenges. For example, the facilities in library are still poor, the collection of library are still limited, and children are not really interested in reading. In order to successfully implement the ASEAN Children Reading Culture Development Project, we need to define specific programs to support librarians, and children aside to form advocating and developing policy. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention and listening.
Thank you for your presentations. And now I will give the floor the Republic of Korea. Can you see my screen? Oh, good afternoon. Hello all. Today, I would like to talk about the current status of children's reading culture in Korea focused on data. This is the agenda for today. And first, I would like to talk about the basic statistics and basic numbers. The total population of ROK is more than 151 million, and the child population is about 10% of it. And young adult population accounts for 6.3% of the total population. And now I'd like to talk about the current status of National Library. The National Library of Korea has the children collection of 734,947. And we have 179 librarians. And the visitors per day is about 513. So 34,000. Okay, now I'd like to move on to the Children's Library current status. There is one national library for the Children's Library. We have about 110 children's library at the local government's level. These are exclusively for the children. And the number of children's rooms in public libraries is about 1,662. And when you take a look at the number of the elementary school libraries, 6,241, and the 67% of them have the librarians. Next, I would like to talk about the children's reading promotion policies. We can categorize them into the government, local governments, and NGOs. While there are the active promotion policies across these three. First, for the governmental level, in order to induce the cultivation of early reading habit, they have been this Book Start project from 2018 up to 2020. And their budget is about 650 million for 2021 in Gyeonggi-do province. In order to reduce the reading welfare gap, they have been operating the book package delivery systems. Last year, they allocated about 893 million, one of the budget. And at the NGO level, Book Culture Foundation has been carrying out numerous reading promotion policies. Next, reading promotion campaigns. The National Library for Children and Young Adults have this campaign so-called Read Me a Book for all children. And for all the people who have a great interest in this campaign, they have been carrying out the detailed campaign programs, so-called cheering relays and hashtag challenge, and they are also making and distributing the yellow aprons from 2015, and they have been doing this campaign since 2015. Next, at the local government level, the Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education is the center of these campaigns. They have been carrying out the 300 books reading campaign. And Gyeonggi Province Office of Education is doing the campaign so-called 10 minutes morning reading campaign. While Gwangju Metropolitan City Office of Education invites the mothers of the students to a class to read a book, and this campaign is so-called Reading Moms. And the Busan City operates OCOB movement, and they have been doing this since 2004. And also, media has been carrying out the promotion campaigns actively. The MBC, the broadcaster, run this show, so-called exclamation point, book, 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 let's read a book. And the Chosun Ilbo had this campaign, so-called living room into reading room. Living room into reading room movement. And at the NGO level, the Korea Library Association has been carrying out the family reading campaign, and the Korean Publishers Association has been carrying out the Reading Award for Children campaign. Next, children's reading culture programs. The National Library for Children and Young Adults, in accordance with the fourth industrial revolutions, introduced these technologies to create some kind of interactive storytelling and experimental programs for children. And one of them is interactive storytelling, and another program is so-called Mikumso program. And also there is a program mixing AR and MR. And many participants are participating, and they are encouraged to participate in these programs. And because of the COVID-19 situation, the interactive storytelling session has been suspended. And at the local government level, especially for the national or the public libraries, they have been running summer winter reading classes every year. In the year of 2021, about 18,000 participants are participating in the summer winter reading class every year. This incorporates the Korean style reading culture in their class and the program. And also at the schools, they have been carrying out many reading culture programs, as you can see. Word Book Day, Meeting the Author, Reading Program, Reading Camp are the examples of these programs. The school libraries are carrying out these programs for whole school year. Next, dissemination of reading culture programs. National Library for Children and Young Adults have this program so-called Reading with the Library, and they have been assisting this program to 110 public libraries, and also it has this program so-called Read Me a Book, and it has been assisting and for 50 elementary school libraries, and up to now 1,822 participants have been participated in this program. And for the reading class, about 1,060 public libraries are encouraged to participate in. And these are the examples of the programs that have been supporting and assisting by National Library for Children and Young Adults. And this shows the examples and the pictures of the programs and campaigns that could Read with the Library and the Read Me a Book. And as you can see, the woman who is reading the book is wearing the yellow apron. Next, these are the posters for the summer and winter reading classes. These are for the libraries, and then they are creating and distributing the guidelines for the librarians as well. And for the participants, the reading notes are being distributed as well. Next, at the local government level, especially for the Gyeonggi province, they have this program so-called My First Library. It is for those of people who cannot really visit libraries, such as pregnant ladies, and they deliver this collection of books to the people who cannot visit the library on site. And in relation to that, there is a program so-called My First Book Play. And then the Office of Education of Seoul Metropolitan City has this program so-called My Child's First Reading School. And this shows the posters and examples of the My First Library by Gyeonggi-do Province, and the My Child's First Reading School by Seoul Metropolitan City Office of Education. Next, at the NGO level, the Social and Cultural Foundation for Reading Books have been carrying out the programs of Book Start, Book Wings, Giving Book Wings, Arms Around, Books Around, and other programs as well. The Association for the Research on Children's Publications has been carrying out a program so-called Read a Book and Send a Book project. Happy Morning Reading is the institution that has been carrying out the program so-called Morning Reading Campaign. And they have been distributing and sending the books to the classroom, school libraries. And that these show the examples of the reading culture programs. The first picture shows Toddler Book Start, and the second picture shows the Book Wings program for elementary school students. And then in relation to that, there is another program so-called Giving Book Wings, and for the low graders of the elementary school students, there are a lot of programs, activities that are being supported. Next, it is by the Association for Research on Children's Publications. They have their own homepage to recommend the list of the books for the teenagers and the children. Also, they are doing this project to send the books to the people in need. And next, it is an example of happy morning reading, and they also recommending a book so that the children and the teenagers can read a book for 10 minutes in the morning, and they also donate the books. That wraps up my presentations, and I just talked about the current status of the reading promotion policies. In conclusions and in short, in Korea, government, non-government, and NGOs have been carrying out the reading promotion policies and programs and actively. And in cope with the fourth industrial revolution, the National Library for Children and Adults uses AI robots to support the children reading activities. And actually, they have been preparing to do so. Thanks for your listening. Thank you very much. It was great to see you.
So thank you all the presenters for delivering wonderful presentations. So we are a little bit out of time, so we would like to have a Q&A session during the working level meeting. With this, I would like to conclude current status of children's reading culture session. Now we would like to move on to the special lecture delivered by Han-Hwa. Thank you, Han, for your lecture. With this, I would like to conclude the general meeting on Children's Leading Cultural Development Committee. As we mentioned before, working level standing members and non-standing members who are reading experts, please stay with us virtually. After this general meeting is done, we would like to have a meeting on joint projects. So thank you for staying with us until the very last minute.